Reaction videos have been around for years and years and years on YouTube. There's been people on YouTube that have made themselves into internet stardom, celebrity, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to tell you, ever since TikTok has taken hold of the internet, platform that people can post their own videos, the subset of reaction videos has really taken a comic turn and made probably thousands of people internet sensations. And we're going to be talking to one of these internet sensations, my newfound friend, Mr. Leonard Firestone. Let's do it, kickstands up. Leonard Firestone, the new comic genius behind his reaction videos, but there's such an amazing backstory to this. Certainly not, millions and millions and millions of followers like some people have, but this man has really taken TikTok by storm, and uh, given the fact that he has such an amazing backstory, I just couldn't help but contacting him and getting him on the show. Listen, you can find the Contrast Project on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, share, comment. And I like to ask you guys, on the YouTube channel, please like, share, comment, and smash the subscribe button. And don't forget to ring that bell so you get the notifications for all new upcoming episodes. And we have them coming fast and furious. So it's a good idea to go ahead and subscribe. I highly recommend it. Listen, Leonard, I got to talking with Leonard on our interview recently. And this is a man who has an amazing backstory. He's not just some schlepper out there that's trying to make a buck off of TikTok. Not at all. Not at all. This is a man who has lived it. He has a lifetime story that will just touch your heart. And his outpouring of support for people, his encouragement, his words of encouragement that he routinely posts on his social media channels. Of course, his uh, of course, his TikTok videos are freaking hilarious. They're comic gold. But I reached out to Leonard, and he graciously accepted my invitation to come on the show. So we're going to talk with him right now. Let's say we go ahead and jump right into it. Kickstands up, baby. We're back with Mr. Leonard Firestone, the TikTok sensation that I have been following for a long time now. Leonard, how are you?
Doing great. How's your day been going, man? I appreciate you having me here.
Oh my gosh. The pleasure is mine. The pleasure is all mine. And might I add, let me just step right out in front, right off the bat, and say, coming from one Army veteran to another one, thank you for your service.
Oh, my honor, my pleasure. Thank you for your service as well, and I'll let you know I got your six.
Amen, brother. Uh, when people, follow you on TikTok and they get these belly laughs and these chuckles off of your reaction videos, which are comic gold, by the way. Uh,
Thank you.
they are. It's freaking hilarious. And if you think about it, reaction videos are not really a new concept. A lot of people have been doing it on YouTube for a while, but a lot of the
Yeah.
reaction videos that you see on YouTube tend to be a little bit more on a serious nature, critique kind of thing. And you along with several other people. Really, there's a lot of people doing it. Monica Turner for one, and she's going to be on our show at the end of the month too. And she mentioned you. She said she follows you too.
That's awesome. I follow her as well, so like it's awesome to see that and collaborate and then to see find other fellow creators and you follow each other. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Well, I'm really late to the game. I've been reluctant with the TikTok thing forever and ever. Now my sister, she lives in Maryland and she sends me TikTok videos like every day, probably 6 or 7 of them every single day for me to look at. And of course yours and Monica's pop up in my feed all the time. So I get to see them all. And I finally started me a TikTok channel, and I got so many other things going on. It's really hard to keep up. And I know, with you being so busy, it must be, it's a full-time job, isn't it?
It's getting to that now. Like for me, like starting off, like I was like very very similar to you. I was just starting off. I didn't want a TikTok. I didn't have the app. I was like, I will never get TikTok. I will never have that app. And my son was just talking to me because like I was working as a plumber, at that point in time. But I also on the side was doing music marketing and selling. So he was like, this is a way that you can, reach out for your music marketing and promote a little bit and get people to know who you are, what you're doing. It's a way for you to, get out there. And I was like, we'll give it a try. We'll start looking into it. We'll start studying, and we'll see. And when she was starting to
Yeah.
tell me about how much people can make doing this, I was like, I worked in the music industry a little bit, buddy. I was like, sometimes they say they're making this, but they're really not making it. So we do more investigating into that. It's like, okay, you can really make some money about this, like some real serious money. So just started making videos and it really started to take off like really quick, like wildfire. Within like the first 3 months of me making videos, I was already at 100,000 on TikTok. And then actually November 9th will be a year for me quitting my job, doing this full time. And actually this month is actually me a full year being on TikTok and making content for a full year now.
That's amazing. Uh, let's go ahead and back up before the TikTok days. And for those that aren't aware of it, your back end story, and a small portion of that people can find on your website, that uh, where you have your apparel, Just One Apparel, and they can read a little short version of your bio. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your backstory there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a little bio. My life has been through so much ups and downs and craziness. It's hard to put it all into
Yeah.
something, especially to unload it all on everybody at that point in time. Um, but a little bit about me is like I've grown up from my mama always having health issues from when I was a kid to, I mean, from the time I was born up until like now. My mama still has health issues from having heart attacks every year. When I was in fourth grade, she got diagnosed with a brain tumor. She went through cancer treatments when we was in high school. When she had the brain
Mm.
aneurysm surgery, she even had to go back and relearn how to talk, how to walk, all those things. So a lot
Oh
of
my
middle
goodness.
school and high school was sitting there reteaching mom how to do all these things while dad's working, having to figure out all these things to help around the house. So I even had my first job at 13. That's when I first started working, and I've been working ever since. Um, so we just did that. We all of us kids. I'm the baby. I'm the baby of four. So all of us kids just try to chip in the best that we can and help around the house with mom and dad. So we we always came from that and was humble and grateful for the things that we had because we really had to work for those things. Um, Getting into a little bit of my adulthood, I went into the military shortly after I got out of high school. At that time, I was already having two kids. I had my first kid at 17. I had my second kid at 19. So I
Ooh.
was married. I enlisted into the military. Within 6 months of being in the military, I deployed to Iraq for a 12-month tour. I got hurt while I was in the military. Had a couple surgeries on my leg. Took me about 6-7 years to start walking again without a walking device. Um, And then I was able to get back to work. So when I was able to get back to work, I went back to carpentry, I went back to plumbing, and I was doing those works. And me and my kids was struggling from time to time from being homeless. And then if we had a home, we didn't have the money to pay for utilities. So there was literally a point in time where me and my kids was collecting rainwater, and I was teaching them how to make it potable so we could drink and cook with it and do all these other things that we needed to
Oh,
do, just by having to collect these rainwaters. So they didn't know that that was that situation then, because I made it look like it was a military thing. I'm teaching you this and that, and try to make it as
right.
fun as possible. So they didn't know, but it is what it is. So that when my son was like, let's do some TikTok, let's do some creating, I was like, what what do we really got to lose? And it just kind of took off.
Well, that's amazing. And then, after or around about that time, you started creating a clothing line, apparel, Just One
Yes.
Apparel.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole concept
Tell
of that,
tell us
because
a
like
little
once
bit
I got
about Just One
into,
Apparel.
yeah,
Yeah.
so as once I got into that, when I was creating the content, that was a way of, all right, well, first steps of trying to figure out how to monetize your content, how to make money from it, right? And that was one of the things that I already knew how to kind of do, was how to put apparel together, because I've done it for so many other artists beforehand. So um, when I was putting content first together, I was like, I wanted to make a place that's where everybody can come to and get away from the outside noise of the world, get away from the stress, the drama, all that constant. I wanted to make it just a place that you can come and laugh, get joy, motivation, inspiration, and then go back and attack the day. So I wanted the clothing line to
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
symbolize that. I wanted it to embrace it, to make sure that it was showing positivity, and what other better way than send a message out and try to spark some change than putting a message on a shirt that people can see, that they don't have to be verbal about, they don't have to be action about. And if we can make the designs right, hopefully we can spark happiness and joy within those designs or those messages we're putting on our apparel.
That's amazing. And I noticed too, along with your positive energy, you put a lot of those positive vibes out on your Facebook page, practically on the daily. Inspirational quotes and things for uplifting messages for people. And like I was saying before we started recording here, it carries a lot of weight coming from someone with your lived experience, to offer encouragement.
Yeah, and that's like what we was kind of speaking about a little bit before we came on, right? It's like being authentic. It means much more of coming from somebody that's actually went through it and lived through it, and it's like, look, I know this stuff isn't easy. It's very hard. It's very lonely. You feel like nobody gets it. I completely understand. I get those. I was in that space. I couldn't buy a friend. I literally could not buy a friend. In the place that I was, me and the girl I was with at the time split, and I had some appliances at her house that I needed to get across town. And I was telling friends, like, look, you just show up with the truck. You can stay in the truck. I'll pay for the gas. I'll pay for your time. Just show up. I'll load everything. I'll unload everything. You ain't got to get out the truck. I couldn't get nobody to show up for me in that moment. So that was in that moment that I knew that, like, if
Wow.
anything's going to be done about my situation, I'm going to have to do it. So that's where that just one mentality has always came from. That, like, every time in my darkest moments when I reached out, there was nobody there. I couldn't buy a friend in that moment. So I always remember that if there's going to be change, it has to start within you. And I just didn't want anybody else to feel like I felt in those moments, because it's been many a moments like that throughout life.
Right, right. And I was going to bring that up, the just one um, line that you use. You had actually posted something about that recently, explaining where just one came from.
Yeah, yeah, because I've had so many people ask me, it's like, you tag this on everything. You got the Just One apparel, you Just One memes, you Just One media group, you Just One cartoons, you Just One more game. You got everything. It's like, I've tried so many times, putting teams together and put the efforts and reach out to people, but it's always came down to just one person that has the motivation. There's just one person that believes in me. There's just one person that's actually going to put in the work and is going to make this happen, and that's me. I got to put in that work, and I got to do that
Right.
constantly. I can't keep turning and relying on other people thinking that they're going to be my missing piece. I have to be the missing piece.
Right. 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 I totally get that. You know, there have been times uh, and there've been times in my life when I felt all alone, and going through, a couple of divorces. There was a
Yeah.
long haul during which I self medicated my depression, and that was not good. That was not good. Self medicating, I do not recommend.
Yeah.
It led me nowhere, and it certainly didn't. It didn't help the depression at all.
No, no. Yeah, I had my deals with that with drinking and stuff, and that's where I really, especially coming back from military and everything, and that was my cop out for a long time, and I was able to get away from that, and I do very well with it now. It wasn't at like such a bad place where I needed therapy and counseling and all that stuff, but I could see that was a crutch that I was constantly leaning on, and I was like, okay, this is going to become worse if I don't get a hold of this now.
Right, right, right. I struggled with it on and off for several years when I was going through some personal ups and downs, and this contrast project that I do, it started out with my good friend Shelton Hall. He's a local journalist, and he's written for several magazines and continues to write regular columns all over the United States, actually, different newspapers. And him and I decided that we were going to start a video, a talk show. And a friend of ours has a small video studio at his home, and we shot 2 full seasons there in the studio with in real life guests that came into the studio from
Yeah.
all walks of life. Entertainers, doctors, lawyers, you name it, and
Yeah.
the pandemic struck after we released season 2, all of the episodes of season 2. The pandemic hit, and it put us kind of on hold of getting in it's a small studio. So, we decided that we weren't going to have any guests in the studio. And then there was a couple of floods at the studio. Again, I live in Florida, and it just rains all the time here. So,
Yeah.
uh, so I set up this little podcast booth at my home, and I live outside of Jacksonville, quite a ways from Jacksonville, actually. So I have to do a lot of remote
Okay.
stuff between my co-host Shelton. Shelton and I, we do a lot of stuff, via text message, and he sends me emails of articles that he wants to pass along to me, and the list is just growing and growing and growing. I've got so many people lined up for the next couple of months to be on the podcast. It's just been incredible. It's just been incredible,
But that's
and
good though.
it's been an outlet for me. It's therapy. It really is therapeutic to be able to talk with people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And because it's that expression of understanding, especially if you can get to the right people to talk to, like, you can actually bounce ideas off of and bounce energy off of. And like, there's real healing and there's real, like I said, therapy in it. So it's really, really good. It's just people get so caught up in sometimes, not being able to have trust issues that they get so closed in that we don't talk a lot. So like things like this can help you come up, talk about,
Yeah,
have conversations, and be expressive about things sometimes you wouldn't normally be expressive about.
right, right, right. And even with the podcast too, um, I'm doing another series. I don't know if you're aware. I'm doing another a series within a series. I started a series with influential women in the world of drumming, and that really sparked a lot of interest in female drummers all over
Yeah.
the place. And so I've got several women that I have honestly never met, although I've heard some of them play. who would,
Yeah.
like to be on the show and talk about, women in drumming over the decades, past and present, who's, influential in the industry. And it really has been, enjoyable, very enjoyable. But
That would be
when I
awesome.
first started following, it is. And me being a drummer too, it's easy for me to talk with them. I mean, yeah, it's just another drummer.
Yeah, I love it, but I don't have the coordination to drum. But I am fascinated by it by so much, and I have a tremendous amount of like respect for y'all because I'm just not that coordinated. I can't do it.
Well, I started when I was a kid. Got my first kit when I was very, very young and started playing along with, whoever was the hot band at the time. And I remember putting my headphones on in the den at my parents' house and playing along to people like, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath and Aerosmith and that kind of thing. And it's self-taught. I did that for years, and then finally started playing with other guys in the neighborhood. And then next thing you know, I was in a band and playing in a club. I was playing in a club when I was 15.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Well, it was my uncle's club, and my mother didn't like that at all. She did not like that shit. She got
I
on
can
to her
imagine
brother. She
that.
said, he's just a boy. She said, he's just a boy.
Oh,
I tell you, but it's been a blast. It's been a blast. I no longer play out in the band and with the bands as much as I used to. I toured around for a little while. Now I just kind of do it every now and again. I'll sit in with somebody, and I'm happy with that. I had my go at it, and it was a lot of fun. And I still beat around on a cajon at the house. That's enough to keep me happy.
that as long as you find that place where you're content and you're happy with, that's a peaceful place, and that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and I believe I responded to one of your posts. I believe had something to do with your apparel, and I mentioned, boy, if you had some hats available, I sure would get one.
Yes, yes, I have been searching for a good distributor for my hats right now. So I've tried a few out, and everybody's they're stitching the
Oh
type of
yeah,
logos and the stuff that I have that I'm wanting to do. It just never turns out right when they ship it to me. So I'm working on it, and especially with winter coming up. Beanies, I'm working on them too. Uh,
oh yeah.
so I'm trying to get there. I just haven't found somebody that makes a good quality product that I'm happy with yet.
Well, I know when they're out, I'm going to get one. That's for sure. And
Yes.
I need to
Yes.
go ahead and I actually need to. Yeah, I actually need to take a look at some of your other apparel right now too. And you mentioned, the cold weather coming, and I know you've got some hoodies on the site too, so I might look into that. Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
honestly, when we get this, when this gets edited and I get it posted, up to YouTube, and I put the audio on the streaming platforms, uh, I will include in all the descriptions and links to your apparel website, and
Awesome.
whatever other links, whatever other links that lead people to you. So the description, the
Thank you. I
bio,
appreciate
and
that.
a little bit of your background and everything will be in the description, so people can read. Yeah, yeah, man, people can read about it, and I think people will be inspired by it. I really do. I really do. For those that may not know of you or aren't already following you, and don't really know that you have such a positive outlook on life, and you're encouraging people with your words. uh, you know, I, I think it's invaluable. It really is.
Thank you. I'm just trying to be the change that I wanted when I was down there in that low. So I know I got a lot to improve and a lot of things still to change and things to be better at. But each day I'm just trying to be better, and then each day I'm trying to help other people be better and let them know that they're not alone in this
Mm-hmm.
process. And I'm just trying to do my part.
Right. Well, you're doing a good job, brother. Uh, you have an upcoming speaking engagement this week, I understand.
Yes, yes, that's going to be a lot of fun. There's supposed to be over 10,000 attendees there for this. We're
Oh.
going to be talking about everything for social media marketing, influencing, and digital marketing. So,
Mm-hmm.
everything that you need to know to try to get your brand and get the most from your brand on social media now, with that being the new curve and a new learn of everything for Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and even YouTube as well. We're there to help you, if whether you're a brand or a business or you're trying to be a content creator. We're going to teach you these strategies and techniques that all of us have used, so you can implement them to your business and make sure you're implementing the right things. um, I'm able to meet with a lot of these platforms as well. Some of these other people are as well. So I believe there's
Mm-hmm.
over I know there's at least over 50 of us talking. So there's a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge in that room. So I'm ready to soak it up like a sponge, and I am ready to meet a bunch of people.
That's amazing. So now you're a keynote speaker too. Add that to your list.
Yeah, yeah. Which is basically my consultations. Just I get to do it to a whole room now instead of just one on one. So it's this is going to be a little bit of a game changer.
Yeah. Have you ever spoke to an audience that large before?
No, no, not that large. I think the largest audience I've ever been in front of is maybe 2,000.
Uh, just just baby butterflies. That's but having a little bit of
Yeah.
butterfly when you walk out on that stage is actually a good thing. Before you know it, we're going to be seeing you on TED Talks.
Yes. Like today I got a little bit of prep because this morning I had a meeting with a $1 billion company. I can't really say who, but we talked off camera about it. But I got to meet with them, and they had over 100 employees there, listening, asking questions. So I was like, well, this is a good start. It's not 10,000, but it's a good start.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. uh, Going forward, where do you see Leonard Firestone's TikTok, progressing from here? Where do you see Just One Apparel progressing from here? Where do you see Leonard in the realm of keynote speaking, as it were? Uh, where do you see the future?
So the future is going to be with the Just One Media Group and Just One Apparel. We're going to keep pushing the positivity with the apparel, but the Just One Media Group is where I'm really going to be focusing all the content and everything that we're really doing. I love making content, and I love doing my inspirational posts, and I love doing all those things, and I'm going to continue to do those things. But I believe if I can reach and help other creators push what they're trying to push, if I can help coach them up to get that out, I believe that will help me,
Mm-hmm.
or help make a change and spark all those things that I'm really trying to push forward to, with the positivity and everything. So the future is
Right.
collaborating with other creators and helping them and coaching them up so they don't make the same mistakes I did when I was coming up, in the same errors. And I use my profile a lot of times for trial and error on things to see if this works or if this don't work. And I mess up my
Yeah.
algorithm and I mess up my stuff, but I can get it back because I know strategy. So I kind of put my profile at jeopardy sometimes to teach these things so I can teach y'all. So the future is definitely trying to lead the new and teach the new wave of content creators that are to come.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And it really has exploded. I know, several years ago when Snapchat came out, and it became, a big thing, and it's still pretty big amongst the teens and preteens. They're using
Yeah.
Snapchat quite frequently, and companies have started advertising and have been for some time. But then
Yeah. Well, it's
TikTok
more
hit the
monetizable now.
stage, and oh yeah, oh yeah, and TikTok hit the stage and just took off running. It has made celebrities out of people, whereas before
Yes.
video content creators, they were relying on YouTube, and certainly there have been some YouTube millionaires made, and I would say that
Yeah.
looking at some of the top performers on TikTok who have millions and millions. Oh, and that one guy from Africa, oh gosh, 1.5 billion
Combi Lami,
views.
or
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah, he's freaking
yep.
hilarious.
Love him. I absolutely love him and his videos.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's actually brought people out of the woodwork, and a great deal of them are, will do, side by side or stitched reaction type videos. But then you also have people that are, staging these, comedy routines, some of which are just, knee slapping funny. And
Yeah.
it's spawned a whole new. It really has spawned a whole new, entertainment venue for people to, cut loose. You know, like I said, with comedy routines, some top notch comedians are, starting to do their TikTok thing and film, basically mini routines, mini stand ups. It's, it's amazing.
Yes, I mean, because if you can use these social media properly and you know what you want to do, like that's why a lot of people think, especially with the TikTok realm, you got to be one specific way. Well, you got to have a niche or this. Not. No, you can use these platforms as audition reels, as audition tapes for anything that you're wanting to pursue in your life and your dream.
Sure.
Put it into a video, make it into your
Yeah.
audition, and that's a way that you can get it in front of people that you never know who has the connections or what will take fire, or what will catch like fire.
Yeah.
Content
Yeah.
creators put out stuff
Absolutely.
all the time. We're
It's
thinking it's
like
going
a
to
video
hit and do
version of
big,
your,
and it just doesn't. And then we'll think
yeah.
that this ain't going to do nothing, then it blows up. So you just never know.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it really does. It really does. Sometimes you're right. You're right. You'll post something that you think is just outstanding, and it goes nowhere. And then out of nowhere, you put some lame post up, in your mind, your perception. I just
Yeah.
posted something this morning. I was having coffee and I put something online, and then you look back at it that night. And there's like a couple thousand people have checked it off. It's like, well, damn.
That's kind of how like the inspirational quotes and posts started happening with me with Facebook. It's like I was putting them out there, then I was like, yeah, these ain't gonna hit, but we're just gonna put these out here, and those who need to see it will see it, and it's for those that need it. That's all that matters. Then that came one of the biggest post things that gets the most engagement on my page now is those inspirational posts. I'm like, okay, I didn't see that coming, but we're gonna keep some. So sometimes you just gotta trial and error. It got to be like fishing. You just gotta throw it out there and see if you get a bite.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. But it's a phenomenal thing, and you're doing a great thing. Like I said, kudos, hats off to you. Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And the biggest thing, really, I can't stress this enough, is that your positive vibe, your encouraging words to people. Um, you know, all the other stuff aside, which is all phenomenal. uh, those encouraging words. You could be changing somebody's. There's somebody out there that reads one of your encouraging posts, and it really hits home for them, and quite possibly made their day.
That's what I'm hoping for. Like even if it's just one, because like I get millions and millions of engagement
Hmm.
and views and all that a month, and that's
Yeah,
all great. But at the end of the day, it's about touching people and make sure I spark a change and saving lives. Like I've had my
Yep.
suicidal attempts, and so luckily they all failed. And I want to make sure that nobody gets to that point ever. If I can say something to you to let you know, and I truly do mean it. It's not just me saying these things and putting them out there. I truly let you know I'm proud of you. I see what you're doing, even though it's in the dark and I don't know what you're doing. I know because I've been there. I know what it's like to keep going and fighting back when everything keeps hitting you and everything keeps pushing you back down. And like, I'm doing everything right. I'm trying to do it, but I want to break. I want to go to this side, but you can't. I see you. You're working hard. I believe in you. If nobody's rooting for you, I'm truly rooting for you, because once you make it out of this and you tell your story, you're going to be able to touch and help so many more people. And you can't see what the end verdict or what the end goal is that life in this universe has for you to plan. So sometimes you just got to go through life instead of thinking, why is this happening to me and why this and that. It's life strengthening you to what you're about to be towards. Like, it's all the things life is trying to throw at you so you get stronger for where you need to be for what it has set for you, right? When you go to the gym, you
Yeah.
have a set goal where you want to be. I need to be able to lift this and push this. So you got to start
Hmm.
working to get to that strength. And it's the same thing with life. But for some reason, we get so hard on ourselves. Like, why is this happening to me? And no matter, we're the only, like, in an adulthood, we're the only time is like, as we do more each day, we think that we can do less each day. Like, I don't know why our mentality does that, but you can make it through the worst day of your life and you're like, oh, I didn't think I was going to make it through it. Then the next day could come and you're like, I'm not going to make it through this day. And you just made it through one of the worst days of your life beforehand. Like, we steadily show ourselves every day how strong we are and how capable we are,
Hmm.
and yet we still
Yeah.
doubt ourselves the next day instead of like, I got this. I can push through this. I got this entirely. I already did this stuff yesterday.
Right. Right. Well, I once again, hats off to you, Leonard, and I again want to thank you so much for joining me here on the show. We're definitely gonna. When I get it all edited and pieced together, you'll definitely be the first one who gets the link. I'll certainly have it
So
up
absolutely.
by this weekend. Yeah, I'll have it up this weekend by at least by this weekend, very least. I have several more interviews towards the end of the week, but I will have it up on YouTube, and I'll have it streaming on the other streaming platforms. It's everywhere. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, and all of them. And
Awesome.
I think I sent you those links in an email. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah. So
Yes. Yes.
once again, if you'll, I tell you, in closing, if you'll just stick around for just a quick second when I pause recording here, and we'll have our salutations in the green room. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Leonard.
Thank you for having me.
I have to tell you that this man was one of the most amazing individuals I have met online. Incredible. And not just because of his notoriety and his, the virtual viral aspect of his show, but and which is funny as hell, by the way. If you're not following him, you need to be. I found this man to be genuine, a genuine leader, a genuine survivor, a genuine human being, an amazing person. And I would say that if if you've gone through any of the things that some of us veterans have gone through, and I'm not saying that I've gone through horrendous things as a veteran. I will say that my good friend Leonard here has gone through some horrendous things. He went through years trekking around post discharge, having to use a device to help him walk. Okay? And the man came out and said, to hell with it. I am going to make this work. And you know, bless this man. And he he's come out above it all. And he is hilarious. And I think that we should all, strive to do the best that we can. And if we can, it's hard. It's rough. Life sometimes throws you a curveball. Life sometimes, if you're a serviceman, life sometimes really kicks you in the balls. And, Leonard has just stepped up to the plate and done an amazing job. And I think he's just not only is not only is Leonard super hilarious in his reaction videos, which we've all seen, but after talking to him, this guy is down to earth. Leonard is down to earth. I love him to pieces. From one veteran to another, God bless you. Thank you for your service. As I always say, from one episode to the next, take care of yourselves. Take care of your veteran friends and each other. Until next time, peace. I don't know where I'm going.